Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our regular meeting, number 13, of September 1st, 2020. For the town of Conception Bay South, I'd like to welcome staff council, including Councillor Cheryl Davis, who is joining us via teleconference from Ontario. And we will proceed to get on with the meeting. And I just noticed that there's a proclamation for Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorder Awareness Week, and I don't have a copy of the proclamation, so we may have to do it later on during the meeting if we can come up with it, but we'll leave that for now. So we need a motion to adopt the meeting agenda for tonight's meeting, September the 1st, 2020. So moved by Councillor Hillier, seconded by Councillor Uden. Any discussion? All in favour? Counter-minded? Motion is carried. And we also need a motion to adopt the meeting minutes of the meeting of August the 11th, 2020. Moved by Councillor Tilley, seconded by Councillor Butler. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favour?
Aye.
Counter-minded, motion is carried. Any business arising from previous minutes? I don't see or hear any. And again, the proclamation, we'll try and locate that and get that in before the meeting is done, and I apologize for that. Now we'll get into new business, and we're going to change it up a little bit this evening. This is where we normally go around the table, and we will go around the chamber, I should say, and get some feedback from councillors. But there are a couple of statements that I would like to make tonight on behalf of Mayor French, who could not be here, concerning a couple of issues or things that are going on in our community that we feel they deserve some mention and special recognition. The first one being the community park update. There's been quite a bit of talk, and it's been in the media over the past couple of weeks, so I just wanted to give an official update from the town. Recently, the town has received some complaints from residents regarding construction of a new community park adjacent to their properties in Long Pond. We understand these concerns, and as a result, have been in close communication with these residents. This park will be a dedicated green space for the entire community and the town's first inclusive playground. It is something that our residents have desired for years, and many are very excited to see the project now underway. The project will see the construction of an outdoor public park, including an accessible playground, and a dual recreational surface, which will be a splash pad in the summer and an ice rink in the winter. In addition, it will include washroom facilities, a stage, walking trail, parking, and subsequent civil and electrical work needed for the park. It will provide a place for residents and families to connect, stay active, and build on the town's vision of being a family-oriented community of choice. The project will be completed in various phases, with Phase 1 set for the completion this fall and Phase 2 to begin in the spring. The parking lot location for the community park off Bishops Road has been identified as the best location for an accessible parking lot. Having an inclusive, safe space where all children can play is a very important feature of our community park. It is something that we are very proud of for our town. Council believes that everyone, especially every child, should be given equal opportunity. Maintaining a green space is also very important to Council. Planting trees and adding beautiful landscaping enhancements will be completed as we move further along in the development process. The contract for the community park requires that the contractor preserves all trees wherever possible and is working closely with an arborist. As well, the town has committed to replanting a variety of trees where reasonable once construction is complete, and will be considering input from adjacent property owners. Furthermore, the town has included privacy fencing in the existing contract and is exploring options to extend this privacy fencing along adjacent property boundaries. This park has been in the work for many years and was featured prominently in the town's last two budgets. The town held a public consultation on the park and has issued numerous news releases and public statements on the topic. We believe that our residents will be proud of the final design, which will offer a unique blend of urban living in a rural setting. The second statement I'd like to cover this evening is with respect to Ocean Choice International proposed Long Pond development. And of course, that has been in the media over the past day or so. We would like to inform residents that Ocean Choice International is in the early stages of a proposed development in Long Pond that could see the initial development of new land, a 90-meter wharf, as well as the possible construction of a new cold storage facility and office. The business plan for the project is still being finalized by Ocean Choice, and a final decision to proceed has not been made at this time. Prior to a decision, Ocean Choice will need to go through the appropriate approval process, which also includes public consultation. And I want to make that perfectly clear that this project will include every piece of public consultation that's possible. If residents would like more information on Ocean Choice International proposed Long Pond development, they can visit the development notices section of our website at conceptionbaysouth.ca. So I just wanted to, and there's one more that Councillor Uden is going to bring forward with respect to the operation of the CBS Recreation Complex. Councillor Uden, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Murphy. First of all, regarding the recreation complex, the town of Conception Bay South is happy to announce that the recreation complex will reopen on Friday, September 18th, 2020, for all resident and user groups such as squash, synchronized swimming. The swimming lesson program for both private and public swims will begin on Monday, September 21st for a 7-week set, and will have reduced capacity. Registration information for swimming lessons and the new pool schedule will be made available next week on the town's website and social media channels. To help prevent the spread of COVID-19, the town has implemented new measures and procedures to ensure the safety of all patrons and staff. For example, there will now be a maximum capacity of 18 swimmers in the pool at one time, and for general swims, residents should call the pool in advance to book their swims. We appreciate the patience and cooperation of our residents while we've taken time to ensure these important measures are in place for a safe and clean experience at the recreation complex. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Uden. So before we get into the actual go-around, is there any of council that have any comments or statements they'd like to make with respect to the three statements that were made earlier?
Yes, Your Worship. With respect to the community park, as you're aware, and I'm sure all councils are aware, in discussions over this project over the last couple of years, I've expressed some concerns about, I guess, ultimately about the design there and what we're doing there. In campaigning the last election, and I'm sure all of you felt the same, something that just stuck in my craw all the time was when somebody said, well, I've got to go somewhere else to take my children to certain facilities. And I fully agree that we need splash pad and what everything else goes with it, accessible playground, whatever else goes with it, and a community park. But as you're aware, my concern is that I'm not sure that this particular space is the space we should be putting our playgrounds. And my concern is that we're trying to be all things to everyone in this small space. I just want to caution council that let's be careful to not do too much in this particular space, because it's a park as it sits. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Any other comments from any other councillors? Hearing none, okay, we'll start with Councillor Uden for any new business you'd like to bring forward.
Yes, Your Worship. I'd just like to remind residents of the 3-hour challenge this Saturday. The original date for this event was earlier this spring and was cancelled. People have already started registering, and I guess they must keep in consideration social bubbles and practice social distancing during cleanup. Unlike previous years, we used to have a I guess, fun get-together afterwards. That will not go ahead, but we do have, I think, 168 registered already, and hopefully we can get a few more out to spruce up the community. Lastly, I'll just mention the Terry Fox Run is scheduled for this Saturday, September 20th. This year's run will be a virtual run across the province, and this is to celebrate the 40th year of the run while keeping the guidelines of COVID-19. Residents, and many residents have already registered online for the event, and it'll be promoted through all our towns' promotional challenge. You can find out more at terryfoxrun.ca or terryfox.ca, terryfoxrun/Conception Bay South. That's it, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. Councillor Tilley.
I'm going to pass this evening, Your Worship.
Councillor Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship, just one. At this time, I guess every year we're talking about children getting ready to go back to school, and we always remind our residents of the safety concerns of so many children back on the streets and the excitement and so on. Of course, we're now 6 months since many of these children have been in school, seen their teachers, seen some of their friends, so that excitement is going to be multiplied, and certainly the apprehension that parents will be going through as well. Another group that sometimes we neglect, and I just want to ask everyone to be patient, I guess, with our teachers and our administrators. I understand what it is to try and get a school year up and running in a good time, but I can only imagine what these people are going through at this point in time under conditions that they're doing so, and I just ask everyone to be patient, and I'm sure they're doing everything they can with the best interests of our children in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councillor Bent.
Thank you, Deputy. Just a couple of things this evening. First of all, since our last meeting, as we mentioned last time, we were planning a meeting with residents of Topsail Beach Road, and we were able to hold that meeting a couple of weeks ago. Very productive. About 15 or 16 of the residents came out. I believe there were 6 councillors there in total, and I found it very productive. A lot of great suggestions from the residents, as I knew there would be, and of course they've been in consultation with us through email, through COVID, and that's why it took so long, of course, to get that meeting. And a number of the concerns and a number of the suggestions raised by the residents are being considered by council and staff, and as we said last time, we are having an engagement done of some of the proposals that were pointed out in the engineering report, and we hope to have that information back soon, along with further discussions regarding the suggestions made by residents. Just another thing, Your Worship, I just want to mention that we have a number of our residents out on a picket line this evening, and they've been out there for most of the week now at the Dominion store, and of course that has a double, I guess, whammy effect for residents at Conception Bay South, because these are families and residents of ours that work in these stores, you know, and they work hard and do great work, and of course they find themselves in a situation where they and their employer are at odds, and they have to work together to find a resolution there, and I hope that Loblaws and those workers can find that resolution soon, so those employees can get off the street and back at doing the jobs that we appreciate that they do. And of course, it closes down one of the major supermarkets in our community, and that of course has an effect on our residents that use that department store for getting their groceries and so forth. So I hope that the two sides in that can find a resolution soon that recognizes the importance of those workers and the need to have that store back open here in Conception Bay South, and of course for workers all around that find themselves on the picket line in that situation. And again, I just want to echo Councillor Hillier's comments about back to school, you know, and what happens with back to school is that we see more kids out going back and forth trying to make their way to school, and Traffic safety is always a concern of this council and a concern for a lot of our residents, especially parents of younger children that have to make their ways to schools around the town. And we just ask everybody to be extra vigilant when they get out behind the wheel and keep an eye out for these young students. And of course, this year with COVID, everybody has a little bit of an extra concern on their mind. So just ask everybody to pay attention, and hopefully everything will work out well, and we'll have a good school year as we do every year here. Thank you, Deputy.
Thank you very much. Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yes, Councillor Bent also was thinking about, we're so used to always watching the crosswalks and the speed limit there, especially in front of St. George's, and many of the kids who will be crossing over. And we haven't been cognizant really of it, I don't think, for the last 6 months, probably because we've been just going on through and not minding the fact that it's school zones and that. So certainly, please, residents, when you're driving in the area, you know, be cognizant of the children crossing, and especially the school bus flashing red lights and those kind of things on the safety of our children. It's going to be an interesting time for them, excited, no doubt, to get back to school. And a little note regarding economic development, celebrating our entrepreneurs. Small Business Week takes place October 18th to 24th and provides the opportunity to celebrate entrepreneurs. Small business is the backbone to our community within the town, and we want to start a little earlier celebrating them this year. Now more than ever, we are realizing the importance of supporting local, and our economic development staff are working on initiatives over the coming weeks leading into Small Business Week. As part of our Business Retention and Expansion Action Plan, staff will be capturing digital testimonials to highlight entrepreneurs and their businesses. In addition, each business within the town will be provided with a window decal to display at their place of business, highlighting that they are a registered business within the town. Staff will also continue with their social media campaign highlighting previous winners of our Bright Business Achievement Awards, and an engagement strategy is underway to connect both one-on-one and in target focus groups to hear from entrepreneurs and learn how we can best support their efforts. We are looking forward to celebrating and engaging with our entrepreneurs and encourage them to connect with our staff at any time for support and guidance as they continue to grow their opportunities. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Councillor Bursey. The best for last. Yes, you're correct.
All right, try it again. The new school year is upon us. The motors will be sharing the road with a significant increase in pedestrians for all ages. Due to COVID-19 guidelines, motors should anticipate an increase in vehicles and pedestrians near school locations. Please have patience with the excess traffic. Take alternate routes or adjust your travel times if possible. The town is also helping to mitigate traffic congestion by reviewing construction schedules and adjusting work is outside of school rush hour. We calmly ask residents to be prepared for school buses to make frequent stops and obey school buses and school signage. Is all remember to look out for pedestrians, especially small children walking in front or behind as school buses. Please be aware of crosswalk areas and slow down. And thank you for help keeping our community and children safe. That's it, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Bursey. Okay, we'll move into the regular agenda items. The first one being recommendations of the Planning and Development Committee, and the chair is Councillor Rex Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship, following recommendations from our meeting held on August 24th, 2020. Recommendation, be it so resolved that the town advise the Provincial Environmental Assessment Division that the proposed shoreline stabilization project at 26 to 50 Lowell Road remains under consideration by the town pending submission and acceptance of a land use impact assessment report in accordance with the terms of reference to the report that was previously approved by council. So moved.
Second, Your Worship.
Any discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, where we, a land use impact assessment report is a report that we require where work is taking place in sensitive areas. And it involves public consultation, in this case, where there's erosion, shoreline, the impact of the ocean on it and so on. And as I said, where we've got sensitive areas, we require such a report to be completed.
So that would be similar to the Ocean Choice International Land Use Impact Assessment Report.
It would be similar to the
Same,
one
same
that-
concept.
It would be the same concept that's being undertaken now for the OCI in Lampa.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded, motion's carried.
And a blanket statement, be it so resolved that decisions made at the Planning and Development Committee meeting on August 24, 2020 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Bursey. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded, motion is carried. Councillor Tilly is being excused from the meeting. Okay, recommendations of the Engineering and Public Works Committee meeting, and the chair is Councillor Junior Bursey.
Yes, Your Worship, I have several this evening. First one, approval for call tender for winter control services. Recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be given to call tender for winter control services. So moved.
It's been moved. Do we have a seconder? Seconder by Councillor Bent. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded, motion carried.
The second one, Your Worship, is an automated waste carts approval to purchase. Recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be given to purchase an automated waste carts from IPL Incorporated at a total cost of approximately $40,000 plus HST. So moved.
It's been moved. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Hillier. Any discussion?
Your Worship, I'm assuming these are replacements for ones that are broken or lost or what have you from our initial batch.
Those, and I believe some additionals for
Yeah.
new starts and new housing developments.
Right.
Yeah,
It'd be nice if we had to buy 100,000 of those, so we could have all of this new development, but
our
we'll get them
current-
as we need them, as they say.
Yeah, our current stock of these is basically depleted, and we need them for requests that meet the requirements that get extra carts and further developments in the town. And the cost, I believe, is to replenish them by 400 new carts, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded, motion is carried.
And third one is tender 20-5, approval to award recommendation. Be it so resolved, to approval be given to award the tender to purchase a 2020 or newer drop frame side loader coal mingle recycling truck. That's a tongue twister for me. To Saunders Equipment at $401,952, including HST. Funds to be taken from the capital fleet account. So moved.
It's been moved. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Butler. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded, motion is carried.
The fourth one, Your Worship, is wastewater treatment plant additional services. Recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be given to call tender for wastewater treatment plant ventilation improvements. So moved.
It's been moved. Seconder, Councillor Uden. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded, motion is carried.
The fifth one is Palmer's Lane road repairs. Recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be given to engage.
Excuse me, Your Worship. Are you going to be in conflict on this one?
Okay, I'll declare conflict on this one. sorry.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I'm senior citizen. In the deputy mayor's absence, Councillor Bertie, you can go ahead. Moved by Councillor Bertie, seconded by Councillor Butler. Any discussion?
Yes, Councillor Uden, this is road repair on Parameters Lane to repair where we had a washout from I guess a water drain break in that area that caused a fair bit of damage to the road, and of course, unfortunately, some properties in the area. And that happened during the early part of COVID, so it's been a while getting to it, but thankfully it's getting done now. I'm not sure if we have a time frame for when work will start on that, but we expect it over the next few weeks, I suppose, and to be done before the end of this fall. So, thank you.
It's good to see. Call for a vote. All those in favour? Contrary minded? Motion's passed. Somebody get Deputy Mayor Murphy. There we go.
Seconded by Councillor Hillier. Any discussion? All in favour? Contrary minded, motion is carried. Okay, next we have the recommendations of the Recreation and Leisure Services Committee, and the chair is Councillor Kirk Uden.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor. Just a blanket recommendation. I will highlight a couple of things, though. First off, we did have a day camp, summer camp, start late, and really like to thank staff for pulling that together. There was a lot of work gone into it to meet COVID measures, and from all reports, it was a very successful camp. Limited numbers, but from all those that attended, they got some really good feedback, and it was incredibly well run. So thanks for that. We've done a couple outdoor movie nights now. We had one cancelled because of wind, but I know they've gotten a great attendance at that. And lastly but leastly, we did meet with some user groups at the pool. I know the squash people, I know Councillor Bent and Butler who are on the committee, and some others certainly want to echo the concerns, and they certainly want to keep momentum going in terms of their program. They've done a great job at it over the last 3 or 4 years of building, I guess, the inclusive program, but the CBS Squash Club in general. So it's good to see the recreation complex open, and hopefully they can I guess address the COVID measures and get people back to recreating. That being said, be it so resolved that the recommendation and decisions made at the Recreation and Leisure Services meeting of August 24th, 2020 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Bent. Any discussion? All in favour?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next is recommendation to Financial and Administrative Services Committee. Deputy Mayor Hillier, okay. Councillor Hillier, Deputy Mayor Hillier, Councillor Hillier, is going to do this, and of course I have to declare a conflict on item number 1, so I'll step out again.
I was deputy mayor in 1990 to 93, Your Worship.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it, sir. It's great for the fall.
Councillor Hillier, I'll assume the chair, I guess. Recommendation of Finance and Admin Committee.
Yes, Councillor Uden, following our recommendations brought forward from our meeting of August 25th, 2020. One recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be given to pay accounts payable checks totaling $443,405.57. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Hillier. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Butler. Any discussion? All those in favour?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Thank you.
Number 2, Your Worship, recommendation be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify the payment of manual checks previously released totaling $306,511.57. So moved.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Uden, any discussion? All in favour?
Aye.
Contrary-minded, motion is carried.
Number 3, recommendation be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify direct payments previously released totaling $696,044.09. So moved.
It's been moved. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Butler, any discussion? All in favour?
Aye.
Contrary-minded, motion is carried.
Number 4, recommendation be it so resolved that approval be given to pay capital invoices totaling $315,026.69 as so listed. So moved.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Bent, any discussion? All in favour?
Aye.
Contrary-minded, motion carried.
Number 5, be it so resolved that approval be given to adjust tax and other receivable accounts as as listed. So moved.
Do we have a second? Councillor Bursey, all in favour?
Aye.
Contrary-minded, motion carried.
Number 6, be it so resolved that approval be given to advertise on the Pattison billboard on Peacekeepers Way at an approximate cost of $3,000. Funds are available in the account number so listed. So moved.
Moved. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Bursey. Any questions?
Yeah, I just wondering if, is that, I guess, the board out on the Manuel's Access Road, or is there a new one?
That's the board by the rental units near Fowler's Road.
Okay, so on Manuel's Access, that's not Peacekeepers?
On Manuel's Access. that's
Okay.
right.
Any more discussion? All in favour?
Aye.
Contrary-minded, motion is carried.
And I have one recommendation coming out of our Committee of the Whole meeting held earlier this afternoon. Be it so resolved that the order issued on August 26, 2020, under the Development Regulations 2011, to all property owners ordering the removal of all livestock from the property located at 302 Conception Bay Highway, Long Pond, Conception Bay South, be confirmed. So moved.
Seconded by Councillor Bursey. Any discussion?
I would assume this move is being taken after consultation with the owner and for some time now, that this is not something that's just come up over the last little bit.
My understanding, Your Worship, it has been going on for some time, and the problem here is that the owner has not taken proper action to control the animals, and they've been sort of left to roam at will.
Yeah, there's been nothing done to try and mitigate the issue that's
No.
going on there, so we have no choice but take the action that we're taking, right?
Correct.
Any more discussion? All in favour?
Aye.
Contrary-minded, motion is carried.
And the blanket statement, Your Worship, be it so resolved that recommendations, decisions made at the Financial and Administrative Services Committee meeting of August 25th, 2020 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Moved and seconded by Councillor Butler. Any discussion? All in favour?
Aye.
Contrary-minded, motion is carried. Thank you, Councillor Hillier.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Recommendations of the Economic Development and Tourism. Chair is Councillor Christine Butler.
We didn't have a meeting due to some vacation scheduling.
Thank you very much, Councillor Butler. Before we call for adjournment. I have now a copy of the Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorder Awareness Week proclamation and a, just can't be right. Whereas fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, or FASD, is a diagnostic term used to describe impacts on the brain and body of individuals parentally exposed to alcohol or prenatally exposed to alcohol. FASD is a lifelong disability. Individuals with FASD will experience some degree of challenges in their daily living and need support with motor skills, physical health, learning, memory, attention, communication, emotional regulation, and social skills to reach their full potential. Each individual with FASD is unique and has areas of both strength and challenges. Whereas FASD NL is a pan-provincial organization that educates, provides supports and resources, and raises awareness about fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, FASD in Newfoundland and Labrador. Whereas Move for FASD is held across the province to mark FASD Awareness Week, and FASD Awareness Week is devoted to raising awareness of fetal alcohol spectrum disorder to improve prevention of FASD and diagnosis and support for individuals with FASD. I do hereby proclaim September 7th to the 11th, 2020 as Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorder Week in the town of Conception Bay South. And I wish that organization all the best. No other committee reports? Any further discussion? In that case, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Hillier, seconded by Councillor Uden. All in favour? Contrary-minded, motion is carried, meeting is adjourned.